everyone. Hi, good afternoon. This is Bridget with BYOB with Bridget, your host. And I would like to say hello and happy Friday to everyone. Guess what? Guess what? We have Miss Charmaine Brown Gadsen back in the house to talk about today's episode. It's a repeat. But guess what? Guess what? That's how we do things here at BYOB with Bridget, because last night it was just like a little vlog and we had some technical issues, but hey, it's okay. We're back again today. So today we're talking about our word of the week, which is backbone. Not the backbone that you have in your spine, but we're talking about the backbone of the household. It symbolizes the core person's character, their ability to stand firm, persevere in their responsibilities under pressure. So that is what we are talking about tonight. Just as the physical backbone supports the body, the metaphorical backbone supports the fortitude of the foundational strength of an individual. We welcome our special guest, but first, sip. What am I sipping on tonight? I am sipping on some delicious Welch's grape juice with some ginger ale and a twist of lime, and I tell you, it is good. Do that recipe, twist of ginger ale and the twist of lime, and I tell you, it tastes like fine wine. So cheers to all of you all tonight with BYOB with Bridget. And tonight we would like to welcome our special guest once again. Welcome to the show, Miss Charmaine Brown Gadsen. Hello, Miss Gadsen.
Hello, sip. I am sipping on some good old Mountain Dew with a lot of crushed ice.
Wow. You know what? That brings me back to old school because Charmaine and I grew up together in my hometown in Fairfax, South Carolina. And yeah. Fairfax is close to my heart, and everybody there is family. So tell me, Charmaine, is that Mountain Dew is as good as it was when we was young playing out there on the baseball field?
It surely is. It's so delicious.
All right. Well, cheers to you. Sip. Cheers to you. So, Charmaine, we're going to start by tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the audience a little about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name is Charmaine Brown Gadsen. I am from Fairfax, South Carolina. I have one son. His name is Benjamin Gadsen. As you may see, Mommy have all of his honors here. I'm just so proud to say that I was raised by a couple of backbones. My grandmother was an evangelist. My auntie was a school teacher here in the area. Retired school teacher. She's resting in peace now. All of them are, and my grandfather was a welder, and I just thank God for my mother, Gwendolyn from Brooklyn, New York, for letting my grandmother raise me. She was a young mother. She was a young teenage mother also, and I still love my mother as always, even though she did not raise me, but I can tell that my mother had a good backbone too. Let me tell you a little story about her. Every time I would go see her, I said, Mom, you don't have a boyfriend? She said, no, girl, I don't have time for these little crooked men. And don't you know, I have that same mentality as she does.
All right.
If you are not coming straight, don't come to me at all. So I'm just here to let everyone know about a single super mom can always be a super mom raising a son. And that's my gift today. I want to
Okay. So, Charmaine, tell me this here. What makes the backbone this a great topic for you tonight? Because, you know, I always let my audience, they pick their own word of the week that starts with the letter B. And you picked backbone. So I knew when you picked that name, that word, you had a story for us tonight. Yes, so tell us what makes you the backbone and of your family, and also why is this a great topic for you to talk on tonight?
Okay. The reason backbone was the best topic for me, I was searching and praying, and I said, Lord, you got to show me what B word to use. And it's because of my awesome son. And I was raised by an evangelist grandmother and a retired school teacher in the home. They were strong backbones. And being raised by a preacher grandmother, that's something else, honey. Because they were very strict. I did everything grandmother did for me. She would not let me spend the night with no one. She would always watch my company. She would always listen to my conversations. I used to say, why is she so nosy? But you know what, y'all? That was the best thing. Snoop. Mm-hmm. Always stay snooping and listening and finding out what these children are talking about. Because trust me, I now found out that was the best raising. Old school was the best raising. I'm proud to say that my son was on the honor roll ever since the first grade up until he only did 3 years at South Carolina State University. I have to say that again. The South Carolina State University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Okay. My boy graduated summa cum laude. And guess what? I thank the Lord that I continue sticking in his life and raising him the old school way.
Okay, so the way you raised your son is also a reflection of the way your grandmother raised you, your grandmother and your aunt raised you.
Yes.
So you raised your son the old school way. But I know that the old school way is always great because the grandparents raising, there's nothing like a grandparent raising. So I know your heart. But tell me, that's a different time dimension. What was the new twist that you put on your raising with your son that you added to it, that he can carry on, that you gave to him?
Well, the different twists I did, I noticed back in the day, they would make us get to that table and have a belt in their hand, and that belt would always scare me. And one thing about me, when I was going to school, I loved learning how to spell words. I loved learning words. And sure enough, when I would always sit with my son to do homework, he was always so happy until when he got into 6th grade, he told me, Mama, he said, my grades fell. He said, I think because they was falling like into a C area range, like B's and C's, and I was always used to more A's than B's. So he said, Mom, I need you back to sit at the table with me. But the twist was that I found out that you have to help children with a loving tone of voice and a loving spirit. Don't threaten them with that belt because it scares them. And my grandfather, Lord Jesus, they always would pull out that little belt and sit it on the chair to remind you had to do your homework.
Oh, that's definitely old school.
Yes.
That's definitely old school, getting your schoolwork done and getting popped throughout learning.
Yes.
Throughout learning. So he needed your support, and you offered him the help by not putting fear in him with the belt, but just by being there, sitting by him, coaching him, and supporting him.
Yes.
That is awesome. That is definitely a twist from old school to new school, because with the old school, I'm all for disciplined children. I'm all for disciplined children. However, the older parents, discipline was definitely their way of doing things. And the younger kids, you find
and they stuck to that schedule too.
Sometimes even that eye would have you scared. But definitely, the whipping the kids for the homework, supporting the kids instead of whipping the kids is definitely new school and a great way to do things as well. Mm-hmm. With today's society and raising children, do you think it's best to raise your son the old school way, which you answered that already, which you said that, versus the new school, the new way of doing things? So what challenges did you face as the backbone of your household, and how did those challenges shape your perspective on perseverance? How you being the backbone of the household shape who you are as a parent?
Yes. Well, I can always admit that I never was a student who loved learning. Like I said, I always loved learning words. But I can say now that if you can, all adults get your education, or either if you have a very good paying job, just like try not to take your children through so many financial struggles. Like with me, we went through a good bit of financial struggles. And sometimes I still today will tell him, BJ, you know, Mom is so sorry that I didn't finish college in time so you would be able to make it. Because after his father and I departed, but I have to say he has a good daddy. I mean, his father, anytime he called his father, he was always there for him. But still, I heard it because I was not prepared to like raise him in a more high financial state. But I think too now that that's the way God wanted him to come up, because he was always the type of kid, he didn't have to wear Jordans. I taught him to wear shoes and clothes from all over. And now he says today, he said, Mom, I'm glad you taught me that way. He said, because you know what I want? I want a beautiful 2-story house. He said, it's not about those clothes and cars. And I'm so glad that he see that.
That's one smart kid to even think that way. And you're absolutely right. It's not about the sneakers that you wear or where your clothes came from. Because look how advanced your son is. He may not have all the name brand and designer items, but your son has a master's degree that can get
Yes.
things that really matter, which is part of the American dream. He wants to be a homeowner. So you know, he could have had all those things and more, and
Yes.
not do half of what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So that part is awesome for you to raise him that way and not be materialistic, and also for him to appreciate not having everything.
Yes, exactly. Excuse me for moving. I see my battery trying to go low.
Okay, but that's fine because we're about to wrap up. We're about to wrap
Okay.
up. So I'm gonna ask. How did your determination influence your own work ethics and ambition? Because you're a very ambitious lady.
Well, I guess maybe being a young lady, starting to work at the age of 16, and I was raised in a home that I did not have to want for nothing. So eventually, when I got grown and became a mother, I found out that, you know what, you have to work. Even if you have to work 2 and 3 jobs, if you didn't have that degree to back you up, you need to work. Sometimes you have to do 2 jobs. And so that's the determination. And I just love having my own money.
That's right. It's nothing like your own money. So you say sometimes you have to work 2 jobs. Have you ever had to work 2 jobs?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
Oh, yes. I sometimes
if
have
you
to
can think of
tutor.
if you can think of anybody in this world that's your idol, who would that individual be?
Well, my idol would be my mother, who, I mean, and I'm sorry, I know you asked me for one, but it's 3. It's my biological mother, my grandmother, and my auntie, which was the teacher that raised me in the home.
Oh, you have some good, strong women that backed you up. So that's why you have a strong backbone,
Yes.
because you had strong women
Yes.
to help build you
Oh, yes.
to be the person that you are. So, what advice,
Yes.
in ending, what advice can you give to others that's watching the show about being the backbone of their family?
Well, the main advice I would like to give everyone is the old school advice that my grandmother gave me. Never let your children spend the night with other people. I'm sorry, it may sound cruel, but it's really for the best, because I have really seen a lot of sad things that came out of situations that children have been in. The most of all, take your child to church. Do not offend them. You go with them and pray. Pray with them. Ask them who and what they want to be. I used to take BJ to South Carolina State to the games ever since he was 3 years old. He always wanted to be in the band. So I bought him books about band, because, you know, a lot of times boys didn't like reading. And you have to encourage them by giving them the books that into the career that they want to become. So I eventually started doing that, and sure enough, he really started diving into reading, and he was always, he stayed smart because he loved to be on the honor roll. He used to love to see us come to his honor roll programs, and we had to be there. And but the most of all thing I do now, I'm now glad that I can tell the parents, you know, hey, sit down and study with your kids, motivate your kids, keep them prayed up, keep the faith in them that they're going to be what they want to be, and take them to church, please. Don't send them, take them. And I'm just here to let all young parents know that you can do it. Single parent moms, if I did it, I made it, and I made it off a little bit of money. You can do it too. So single moms can be super moms too.
And that's a great topic to end with. Single moms can be super moms too, and you're absolutely right. Single moms can be super moms and superheroes as well, and they can raise successful children, and you are a living testimony for raising a successful son. So thank you so much, Ms. Gadsen, for being on the show tonight with BYOB with Briggett. Thank you for coming back for 2 nights in a row. But we got everything straightened out, and everybody is going to hear your story. And thank you for sharing your story. And we know that in the future, when you come back to the show, you're going to be doing even more greater things because the kids love you. You love what you're doing, and you are definitely a strong backbone who is very ambitious that represent women of today. So thank you, Ms. Gadsen, for being a part of BYOB with Briggett. And to everybody else, thank you all for tuning in to BYOB with Briggett. I want to say thank you all once again. We look forward to seeing you all on next week with our next guest and our next word of the week that will be put out on Sunday. But in the meantime, as I always close, love yourself in spite of your flaws. We'll see you next week.